Welcome to the Truth for Your 20s podcast. My name is Katie. I'm a proud girl mom. I've been married 20 years and counting. I'm a keynote speaker to sororities nationwide and a passion to be who I needed when I was younger.
And I'm Shayna Webb, proud big sister of 5 girls, Chattanooga content creator, high school coach, and your resident 20-something co-host who definitely doesn't have it all figured out yet, but loves talking about it anyway.
And together, we are here to bring a little truth, encouragement, real stories, and laughter to your 20s.
Woo! Hey guys, we're back.
We're back. We're excited to be here. Wow. So many things to reflect on.
Yes. So we just want to let you guys know that this is our 16th episode since we kind of relaunched. And that has been so crazy. And you can probably tell from every week when we get on here how we're just like, we're so busy. We're just trying to do all of these different things. Anyway, just with all the busyness of spring, and I am in the middle of the craziest lacrosse season, like stuff every day and figuring out my new job and everything. We do think this is going to be our season 1 finale, and then we'll come back in a couple months.
I like it.
You know, whenever.
It's just a great time to kind of wrap it up and reflect and look at, you know, these 16 episodes and their relaunch and how so many things have changed, and to kind of I'm real bad at the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friends is really good at doing this, sit and reflect. And so she has taught me to just sit and reflect. And I think it's really nice to look at all the hard work we did on those 16 episodes and you guys' feedback and what you liked and what you talked about online. And so, yeah, that's what we want to chat about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just so proud of us for doing the dang thing. I mean, we did this and we're still doing it. We're just taking a break during our very busiest spring season.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep pushing the episodes that maybe you haven't listened to yet. So it'll be a great time to like go back and maybe listen to an episode that you missed, or for us to dive into pulling those podcast clips and sharing them on social media and just growing our online community, because the whole thing about this Truth for Your 20s is we want it to be a community with you guys. Yeah. And so we definitely want to like invest more time into talking with you guys in the DMs and the comments and the messages and stuff on social media, which our favorite thing about social media is the community that comes with it. So we definitely want to dive into more time with that while still continuing to share, you know, deeper on the podcast and stuff. But yeah, that's
more breathing
kind of
room to just hang out online and promote episodes that we're really proud of that we didn't even have time to do a clip on and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And I don't know if you have experienced this, Shayna, but since I've had kids, people talk about December being busy. And I'm like, have you even met May? Like, May is my busiest month times 10. And I have a senior, and a senior year is like they have an awards ceremony for an award
every
ceremony.
other day. Yeah.
And it's also my busiest season at work. And so it's just like,
yeah. I think my
buckle up.
busiest month is definitely April or maybe February, which
Yeah.
we just got through, just with lacrosse being every single day. And
Yeah.
then also I think me just starting my new job has added to that too, and trying to figure out what I'm doing with my business and all these different things. And April, there's so many spring events because the weather's finally
Yes,
consistently
it's
nice
beautiful.
and everything, but mainly because of lacrosse, it's definitely the busiest time. But, I mean, when we started this podcast back at, I think it was Halloween week.
I was about to
when
say, it was in the fall. And
when we
took
started
it to
recording.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what we were doing. And it's really cool to look back and see how far it's come since those October days.
And it's really fun. So the whole, I don't even know if we introduced like how we connected. That was the first episode, one of your number 1 downloads, by the way, but reintroducing ourselves, but just, you know, hey, like, and if you don't know, this podcast existed and then we kind of merged and did a co-host thing, but I knew you not super well, but I was like, I feel like you'd be a good co-host. We have a lot in common, yada, yada. And all that to say, there's so many unexpected, oh, thank God you work this way too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're both we come in to film the podcast and we sit down. Guys, we always spend about 45 minutes trying to get the podcast started because we have to set up the whole everything. And that's when we catch up and we're like, what should we talk about today? And then we plan it like while we're setting up the podcast and everything. But it definitely is a thing we never figured out. It's how to set up the podcast, like recording part quickly. But I'm proud of us because we're the same way. Like, neither of us were like, you seriously haven't looked at what you want to talk about. Like, we both just talk on the fly, and it's so much better than trying to script out and be perfect because we just want it to be real.
It's okay. We love our accountants and type A's who have spreadsheets for their spreadsheets, but we work a little differently.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we're the same.
And I'm just glad that we got to
crazy if we weren't. You know?
Yeah. And I'm thankful that you asked me on the podcast too, because
yeah.
it's been so cool. And trying something new is obviously the title of this episode, but podcasting for the first time, you know, trying this new thing. And we always preach that in your 20s is the time to try all of these different things. Like, you don't want to look back when you're old and think like, I wish I would have tried this. I wish I would have tried this. And it's just been so cool to have gotten the opportunity to try this together in like a very serious way. Like, being able to come onto your podcast that you've had and have grown into this awesome community is just such a blessing. So I'm very
Well,
thankful.
I am glad to link arms with you and do the dang thing, which by the way, we if you're new, that is the episode title and one of our
Yeah.
favorites. So referencing that.
But speaking of episode titles, we were just looking back before we started this episode at from this past season 1. So season 1 being when we did the reintroduce ourselves episode when I first started joining the podcast, which technically was released the very beginning of December. We filmed it back in October.
Right.
And so we're looking back at the most downloaded episodes, and the number 1 most downloaded episode or most listened
We have to do
to.
a drum roll.
Oh, yes. Oh, we kind of got away from the sound effects, but imagine we saw the sound effects. It was How to Make Friends in Your 20s.
Yes.
And that is just so cool because that was truly my 2025 goal and resolution. And it's been so cool because this episode title, Trying New Things in Your 20s, goes so hand in hand with making new friends in your 20s because the way you make new friends is by trying new things.
Yes, and that's kinda like, of course, this podcast and doing all the things. I was listening to a audiobook. I just had a, 10-hour drive to and from. Anyways, an audiobook, and it was talking about and I know this, but to hear it again, it's so just to meet friends, you have to go to the classes and go to the things and all of that stuff, and just a healthy reminder. Again, the stages of life change, like when whatever that might mean for you, going to the things and whatever that might mean, and meeting people, introducing yourself.
Yeah. I just did a volunteer event this past Sunday, and I didn't know anyone when I was going into it.
Yeah.
And it was so cool to just meet people by packing sandwiches and all the different things. Like, that's how you meet new people, is by trying things that you maybe haven't tried before. Because going to a new workout class or going to a new park. I met someone at the new dog park because we just moved. And so we have a new dog park in East.
There you
Well,
go.
I guess in our new area of town that we live in. And so it's just cool to meet new people by trying these new things. And me trying this whole podcast thing, which is new for me, has made me get such good friends with Katie, which I'm so thankful for. So that's been cool too.
You're sweet. Yeah, so we just want to kind of reflect and look back. So obviously that making new friends in your 20s was a number 1 streamed episode, which is super exciting. But since we restarted it, we have 11,000 streams.
It's amazing.
With just these. So it's super exciting. And just kind of looking back and I don't know, reflecting, I guess is what we're talking about. But one of the things that I am proud of us is I had this idea. Okay, so first of all, the podcast is happening. I knew changes has to happen. What does this look like? And just reaching out and you saying yes. None of the if any of those would have fallen apart, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. But the fact that we tried, the fact that we what if this does work, and we just did it. Just encouragement. There's so many people, I think, with dreams or, well, what if you tell yourself, what if it doesn't work, but what if it does, or what if the worst thing happens, but what if the best thing happens?
Yeah.
So, just reframing all of those good things.
Right. And I think one big lesson when trying new things is you don't have to be good at something to start it.
Yes.
You don't have to be so qualified to begin. I was speaking to a group of high schoolers last night and about social media stuff, and I was trying to preach perfectionism is the number 1 stopper that stops people from trying things that they could be thriving at, but they're so scared of being perfect. And I was just you just got to try it. You're not going to get better until you've done it a bunch of times, not just 5 times, 500 times, And so that's how you're going to get better. So you do not have to be good at something to start. Please, let me preach that from the rooftops. Confidence, will come as you continue to do it. It's not just going to be there before all the time.
Yeah. I mean, the only way to get ahead is to get started. I'm all about my favorite quotes and all that good stuff. So, and then just practice makes better. I don't want to ever say perfect.
Yeah. Everything, every time you do it, I think you get better at it. And you can probably tell that from our episodes. I was probably not that. I mean, I don't know.
You were great.
Thank you.
But, and I think that people get frustrated when I'm not there yet. I'm not at their stage. And we compare our day 1 to someone else's year 5 or whatever it is. And that's just ridiculous.
Yes. I've had that conversation with many girls as well, too. And comparison is obviously the biggest killer, and perfectionism just stopping us. But I feel like everyone you look up to, think about someone you look up to in whatever passion you have, or, think about the big people who've made it, they were all once bad at something as they
Right.
were starting out. So
Yeah, Ed Sheeran talks all the time about how he couldn't sing, which blows my mind. So you never know. But okay, so we're gonna do like kind of reflections. So what are some of the things that are some episodes, or I don't know, just some things you learned about this whole shenanigans?
I think you just learn so much from trying
Yeah.
things. You learn from putting yourself out of your comfort zone. You learn just by, not necessarily like studying or thinking all that hard. Like you have to just learn by doing.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
that's true when you're in college and you do internships. Like I learned more in my internships than I did in my classes. Or I have learned more about posting in perfecting social media videos by just doing it rather than taking some class
Yeah.
or trying to watch other people and see how they do it and trying to copy them. Like I just learned by doing. And I think that's been one cool thing about this podcast too, is just, you learn from doing it.
Yeah.
And we learn from continuing to talk to each other and continuing to just try new episodes and everything. So that's one thing I learned. What's one thing you learned?
Yes, I learned that we're better in community, that when
Yeah.
I was trying to do this myself, it was harder. It was harder, of course it was, but, there wasn't the accountability of, "Oh, well, Shayna, we're if I didn't post an episode on Tuesday, like, the world didn't end, and
Right.
it still was not gonna end, but you know what I mean? Like, you're counting on me too, you know what I mean, to get
Yeah.
that done, and which is a good thing, and you have that accountability, to show up at Thursday when we book this room to record, to have an outline, to have we're just better in community because when it was just up to me, it's a lot easier to just not do things with excellence. Yeah, there's just so much to how I have strong feelings. I always think about like, if this is working well or not working well, how did our ancestors do it? And so I
Yeah.
think about people used to be so much more community, like, the parents and the grandparents and the aunts and uncles would all live on one share of land, and this person would garden, and this one would cook, and this one would watch care of kids, and we just all collectively contributed, and I realize that's over exaggeration, but I do think that we're better when we share resources and even just have a friend to bounce ideas off of. Two minds are better than one, as they say, so it is very, very true.
Yeah, definitely. And I do think trying new things forces you to communicate better. Like you just said, we had each other that we were communicating with, which was really helpful, but also just learning to ask for what you need. I know we talked about that in a previous episode, and I thought that was so good because I think so much of the time we overthink. And you just have to realize nobody's reading your mind, your overthinking mind. And so by just communicating clearly about what you need and refining that skill of communication is so helpful and such a learned skill in your 20s, I think, for
Yeah.
sure. And I know, I mean, there's different ways you can look at this. I am thinking about how many times I've said the word like on this podcast, so many times. I'm not necessarily talking about that. I'm just talking about when you need something, being able to ask for it without, for example, we are both so busy and everything. And so we come in and we're talking about, we could have both just kept pushing through this in our busy season and continuing to show up, which we have been. And I'm very proud of us for. But when we realize, hey, it's so busy right
Yeah,
now,
we
we
gotta
maybe need to do a season 1 finale and then come back like refreshed and everything
yeah.
and push on social and push on community for the next 2 months rather than trying to do more and more and more episodes. Like that's just because we were able to communicate it. And guess what? There was nothing bad that happened. It's
Right.
honestly all been good because we both are on the same page but we wouldn't have known that if we didn't just communicate about it. So
Yeah.
that's cool too. But
Yeah.
like we're learning we're doing what we say we are talking about on the podcast. So
We
that's been
really
awesome.
are, and I have learned kind of related is, so many people, "Oh, I wish I had that," or, "I wish I had that community," or, "I wish I had a friend accountability," whatever you might say. Literally, you have to just introduce yourself. Sometimes I'll go to a coffee shop and work beside someone for months and not even realize, and you're like, "Hi, my name's Katie." Just talk to people at church, at where, and so people get frustrated that no one talked to me. I wasn't invited to that. Well, how about you have a party and invite people? How about you introduce yourself? And so I guess when you're talking about that, I just had my brain going to the responsibility it is for us to introduce ourselves, slide into the DMs of friends. And we're not going to talk about dating, but that's related too. Obviously, you just got to get yourself out there and introduce yourself. So anyway, it all works together.
Yeah, trying all the new things and just being clear. I think what we kept saying in that past episode was like clear is kind and
Yeah.
unclear is unkind. So just being honest with what you can do and what you're able to do and saying no to different things, but also saying yes to things that are going to bring you new friends and
Yeah.
new experiences.
Yeah, for
That's for
sure.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, since talked about all that fun stuff, and this is just a fun story I have to tell you because it's completely unrelated, and I think people find this interesting. I gotta tell you our chipmunk story.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait. I'm sad. Have you been seeing that? Okay, sorry. Whenever you say memes out loud, it definitely sounds weird, you guys know. That anytime people, if you're listening to a TikTok story time and you look in the comments and people post that meme and it's like, I'm sad. Like the person just
Yes.
like sitting down. And then I just said it out loud and I was like, that sounds kind of weird. But I'm ready to hear this chipmunk
Okay,
story.
okay, guys. Okay, this is fun. So buckle up. All right, so I was out of town last week and it is okay. I leave on a Tuesday. Wednesday morning, my daughter calls me. She's about to go to school. Her sister's already left for school. My husband's already left for work. This is like a 5-minute window when she's about to go. She calls me, Mom. Well, first she said, there's a squirrel in our house. And I was like, what? We have an outdoor cat. We have a pet door. He comes and goes as he pleases. And apparently this time he brought a squirrel. It was a chipmunk, but she thought it was a squirrel at first. Okay. So I am on my way to this work conference. My boss is driving. He's a big Christmas vacation. And so it turned into me. I put her on speakerphone and there's a, Mom, it's under the blanket. It's under the couch. Oh my gosh. It went upstairs. Oh my gosh. The cat, we have 2 dogs and a cat. Like there's animals screaming. She's screaming. And then, anyway, my boss, he's almost had to pull over. He was laughing so hard. He was just like
That is
in
so
tears.
funny.
And I was like, the chipmunk. Okay. So, but she's like literally about to walk out the door to go to school. I'm like, girl, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm like, you're going to be late to school. So she stays a little bit, tries the broom, tries to get it out. Nothing works. I'm like, girl,
Just go to school.
yeah, just go to school, leave the animals in there, let nature take its course, see what happens.
Yeah.
So she goes to school. She brings 2 of her friends home with her. She's like, all right, Operation Find the Chipmunk. So they're looking in every crevice in every corner, all over the house. They find no chipmunk. I'm like, well, the cat probably grabbed it and took it out the pet door and
Yeah.
like it's living its chipmunk life or not so much.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're a chipmunk lover.
Yeah.
Okay. So literally 36 hours pass by.
Oh no. I'm so scared.
I'm FaceTiming with the girls before they go to bed, and Charlie, our Dotson wiener dog, whatever, is like scratching at the chair underneath her room. She's like, "Why does he keep doing that?" I'm like, "Oh, Hannah, pick up the chair." Sure enough, the still alive chipmunk, yeah, and it's upstairs in her room, like runs out, and she's like,
Oh my God. The fact that was still alive, that
Right?
was good. It's much better
I
than finding a
guess.
dead one.
I guess. So the whole thing continues. This is 10 o'clock at night. They go and get Brian. Like they're trying to get it out. Like it's a whole thing. He's still running. So they set a mouse trap. It's again, like it's late. She has a field trip the next day. So they set a mouse trap. She sleeps in another room. But then she has like trauma because she's like, I slept in their room last night with a chipmunk and I
That's
didn't
so
even
funny.
know it.
And it was fine. She
It was
could
fine.
just sleep again.
It was fine. Okay. So she goes to bed. The next morning, they didn't find the mousetrap. Everything, like, whatever, business as usual. I get home that day at 12. I go and assess the situation. Everyone's gone. And the mousetrap had been set, but there's no chipmunk in it. So I guess it, like, triggered it, but got away from with the peanut butter and whatever. I'm searching in every corner of her room because they locked the door and they put like something under the door. Surely it's still in there. I'm searching in every corner. The wiener dog, yet again, comes in clutch. He is upstairs in the bathroom right beside her room and he's just staring in the corner, which is where the trash is. And he's a dog and he eats trash. So at first I was like, whatever. But then I kept going upstairs. I'm like, wait. So I pull open the shower curtain and sure enough, Mr. not doing well, but still alive chipmunk
Oh my goodness.
starts running around. At this point, I can pretty much easily grab him up with some gloves. I put him outside to live his final hours. And that is the story about the chipmunk got in our house and how the wiener dog saved the day.
Wow. That's such a good story.
Isn't that a good one?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I just had to share that because it's fun, the real life stories. And
And of course, you, the mom who was out of town for what, 4 days, 3
yeah,
days?
yeah, I'm the one who found it. I'm like, are none of y'all chipmunk catchers? Like, what in the world?
Yeah. No, for real. You just still saved the day,
Still saved the day.
even though you were gone all week and nobody else could do it.
But fun fact, our daughter's room has never been cleaner because she pulled up everything. And so we're joking that we're going to put a chipmunk in her room like once a month. So she does a deep cleaning.
That's secret parenting hack.
Yes. No
That's
extra
funny.
charge for that today.
That's funny.
So anyway, I thought that was just a fun story to share and wrap up our just fun little adventure that you've been along with us for, how many did you say, 16 episodes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Out
So
of those
fun.
16 episodes, which one was your favorite?
Oh, girl.
You can't say all of them.
I really enjoyed sharing how we met our spouses because, of course, we've all shared that story before, but it's fun to go
Yeah.
down memory
And
lane.
that was our
And
second most listened to episode.
yeah, that was fun.
It's
Enjoyed
fun.
that. I enjoyed hearing your story again. And I had friends like message me, oh, listen to that and didn't know this about your story or
Mhm.
whatever. So that was really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is neat.
Yeah. What about you?
I really liked the how to live the life you or how to live a life you love in 2026. That one where we shared a bunch of different truths, and I thought it just fit so well with truth for your 20s. And I really liked that one because everyone, wants to live a life that they enjoy. So it's cool to be able to think about that and just the reflection that we did before that. I also really liked, I never have ever heard of the Curse of Eve. So when you first brought that up, I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be canceled. Like, what is this? You explained what it was, and it was really cool to just listen to because I've never heard that before. And so just getting to hear you explain it and thinking about it in my own marriage or just friends' relationships and things like that was really cool. So I like that one too.
I'm glad you did. And I posted something about that on TikTok, and a lot of people had just questions or want to know more. And so,
Hmm.
case in point of why I think it's good we're just not recording for a while because I would love to talk about that episode more. I think it was interesting
Like
and
on
can,
social media.
yeah, and just kind of pull people into the conversation because I mean, there's a lot more there, but I think that we kind of started an interesting conversation. So yeah, that was a good one. That was probably number two
Yeah, yeah.
choice.
Yeah, so basically over the next couple weeks, obviously you can still listen to us on any
Yes.
of our episodes, but we definitely do want to engage with you guys more, like I say, like in real life, but on social media, obviously. But it's so cool because social media is such a tool where you can connect with people and hear, what do you guys want to listen to in season 2? And what did you like about season 1? And just also, what are you going through in your 20s right now? Like, what can we pray about for you? And different things like that. It would be awesome to connect with you guys on social media, or even if you're not on social media, in the podcast comments or, wherever.
Yeah, if we can create a community around this, that would be 10 out of 10 fun.
Yeah.
And we do, but like just to have that growing and to share more, just, tease out the conversation starters that we have here on the podcast, that would be amazing.
Yes. And also, we should totally give a shout out to our season 1 partner.
We should. Oh my gosh, Dandel Spa, you guys, I know we've talked about it and their skincare is so good now that we are, I don't know, probably a month in of using
Hmm.
it. I mean, I'm very, very impressed. I don't know I think I told you this. I used to work for a dermatologist, so I've had a lot of different samples of a lot of different stuff. Their stuff is like really, really good.
Yeah. And they ship everywhere. So they're
Yes.
based locally here in Chattanooga, which is where we live. So we
Yes.
got to meet the owners and everything, but they ship nationwide. And so it was cool to just hear, how they ship everywhere and how they make their products. What is the word?
So there's the EWG
Yeah,
scale,
that.
which grades like toxicity, endocrine disruptors, like anything you don't want on your skin. Like, and it is in a, I don't remember all the numbers, but like it's in the good zone.
Yeah.
They're gonna die. I'm
Yeah. I
like
think it
not
was like
explaining that
under
very well.
3.
Yes, everything's 3 and under, which is very, very good. And so I've like kind of been on this journey because I don't want to put toxic stuff on my skin, but I also want results of, skincare that works. And I've really been pleasantly surprised. My skin is softer and smoother. It's just been, I don't know, surprisingly really, really good results. Their vitamin C cream is like 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
They have really good prices. Like there's
Yeah.
some very expensive stuff that is not nearly as good in my humble opinion. Anyway, and they're offering listeners 20% off.
Yes, if you use code TRUTH20, you can get any of their products 20% off, which is awesome.
Yes.
And again, like we're so thankful that they, wanted to partner with us. And it's not like we're, making the money from your sales or anything. We just got to try their products
Yeah.
and they gave us a discount code. And so we were like, yes, we want to share it because we really enjoy them and we love their products. So
Yeah. And they're
that's
good
just some,
people, which is
yeah.
nice. Like we always have to support business owners that are,
Yeah, Christian business owner. I mean,
yeah,
it's just awesome.
they're doing great. And if you're local, definitely get a massage because 10
That
out of
was
10.
cool too.
10 out of 10.
Definitely. That was some fun bonding. Katie and I got to do a couple
We
weeks ago.
did. That was fun. Man, well, so thankful for this wild ride
Yes,
with
yes,
you.
yes. And we would still love, again, to hear any feedback you have from any of the episodes. Tell us which one your favorite was. If you listened to more than a couple episodes in this season, we'd love to hear which one you liked, what you want to hear from us in season 2. I mean, I don't want to necessarily put a hard date on when we will
Yeah.
release another episode, but I'm sure it will be this summer at some point.
Yeah.
So,
We'll just pay attention to the social media. That's where we'll do all the fun up.
yes, in our social media, Truth for Your 20s. That's 20 for 20s. And then also, you can obviously find Katie on TikTok, Katie Bulmer Life, and mine is Shayna Webb. But
if you're not already, I post all that on the show notes. So anywhere you're
yeah,
listening, you can see that, and I'll have the links right there. You just
yeah,
go clickety click, and there you go.
yeah. So anyway, thanks for listening, you guys. And if you listen this far, I mean, you're a real one. So we appreciate that.
Guardians.
Yeah, exactly.
We love you guys. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you next time.